Hey, and welcome to Born Again to Live on a beautiful Wednesday. Actually, it's Monday, but it's Wednesday.
It's Wednesday.
And Amy's here with me, and we're hanging out and talking about fruit and God and us.
And we're 2 weeks in the future right now, Eric.
That's right. Yeah.
We are in the DeLorean.
It's a weird thing. It's hard to get used to. But yeah, there's still so many people who think we record them every day.
Yeah.
But I let them out at like 1 o'clock in the morning, so there's no way Amy's going to be that.
Heck no.
Unless she stayed up.
Wow, I mean, that's always possible. But yeah, we live in a time-warp continuum. I did find it funny that one day when Shanda said she had off on Monday, and then when she rejoined the podcast, like her days were mixed up.
Yeah.
And I'm like, welcome to our world. Like, yes. But no, it is a
Wednesday.
On a Monday.
2 weeks from now.
It sure is.
All right, so we're talking about fruit.
Yes, we've been making a delicious fruit salad all week, Eric. Let's go through this.
Yes.
We have grapes, we've got strawberries, we've got peaches, apples, pawpaws, we have raspberries and pomegranates.
And today we're going to add some weird ones.
Well, Eric, I'm telling you, these two that we're adding are not fruits that belong in a salad. Like, you don't put these in salads ever, so that's...
Said we're going to blend it and make it good, so...
Well, it's going to go in it's going to go in the smoothie for sure, but, like, if you went to a brunch and you got a scoop of fruit salad, you'd be like, what is this doing in my fruit salad?
Yeah. So gentleness and self-control are the final ones.
Yes.
Yeah, self-control, it had to be an odd one.
It really did. And again, we are reading from Galatians 5, the 16 through 26 is where you find the full fruits of the Spirit. But yeah, we're on our final two, so we're going to push through.
So for gentleness,
yes.
We talked about how it's a fruit that is humble enough to know it needs some help. And so I put the lemon out there.
Yes.
Because it's got to have sugar.
Yeah, it does.
It's not real good. I love a lemon. I eat the half of a lemon like all the time, but I'm weird. So I will just put out there that I'm a fan of lemon. It's probably one of my more favorite fruits and one of my more favorite flavors.
Yes.
But yes, it needs a little help every once in a while.
I do love lemon-flavored everything. I mean, everything. And so it is funny, though, that, like, when I think about some of my favorite fruits, cranberries, lemons, even pomegranates, like, it's the ones that it's all about the squeeze, right? It's not about the fruit itself. But, yeah, the lemon, man, it pairs well with blueberries. You can mix it with butter. Gosh, it has so many uses, but you're right.
I make my coleslaw. I use fresh lemon juice in it to give it tart. And, I always squeeze out way too much, and there'll be, like, I don't know, half a cup of good lemon juice sitting there, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm drinking that.
Yeah.
Straight lemon juice. I love it. But it's good for your kidneys. The reason I started drinking straight lemon was I had kidney stones in college, and because I like sweet tea and ice cream, and evidently if you have those two things in combination, they'll make kidney stones a lot.
Okay.
And so I had a whole pile, like 3. And the doctor's like, you need to just drink lemon. It'll flush your kidneys. And so I just drink straight lemon juice, and so far, so good.
Man, I love a good, like, lemon cranberry muffin. I love, the
lemon blueberry bread blueberry.
Yes.
Like, it's so good, but.
Oh my gosh, I love a good lemon ice in the summertime. Obviously, we've got our lemonade. Yeah. And I think I love a good lemon cake with lemon icing. Like, nothing beats it. So.
Lemon bars. Man, I love lemon bars.
So,
okay.
Oh, yeah.
Enough on lemon. Let's talk about...
We haven't had lunch yet.
Gentleness.
Gentleness, okay.
Gentleness. Or, what is it?
Meekness. Yes, absolutely.
Or humility. I mean, they all interchangeable.
I mean, they are. They much like these fruits, they definitely have their own distinct flavor, you know. But yeah, gentleness is I think gentleness is the fruit of meekness, because we've talked about meekness before being a very constrained strength.
Yeah.
You know you are the biggest player at the table. You know you could wipe everyone out. but you are going to be that gentle-hearted soul, right? Because Jesus just could have,
Yep.
I mean, he could have obliterated all of his Roman captors with just a stare, right? Yeah, he could have cried out for the rocks to just come out of the mountains and stone them. He could have done anything he wanted, but instead he took on this gentle nature, and and that is his meekness. He had all the strength, but he refused to use it.
Yeah, and that's I always think about when going to church and they were doing that 10,000 angels song. Like, he could have called down a whole legion of angels to take him off the cross, but he just stayed there.
Yeah.
That is the definition of meekness.
Absolutely. And yeah, God, the fruit of the Spirit is gentleness, because I don't know, so much. To me, it is, yes, gentleness and humility. It is about just knowing that it's not always about me. I don't need to be the loudest person in the room. It is often just that quiet confidence that's exuding that peace and that goodness and that, yeah. So it's almost like I do kind of like that it's the lemon, right? Because you might squeeze a little bit of that lemon juice on the fruit salad, but it's not going in with the others.
It keeps the apples from turning color.
Yeah.
It's needed, but it doesn't want to be the star of the show.
Exactly. Yes, gentleness. I love it.
So yeah, I don't know. It's one of them things, again, like you'll see humility and you'll know it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like lemon juice. Like somebody will hand you something and you don't know what it is. If you're doing a blind taste test and you get straight lemon juice, you're gonna be like, oh, that's lemon.
Yeah, that is it.
And if you see somebody doing something in meekness or humility,
yeah,
you're gonna be like, oh, that's it. That's humility. It's almost that you're gonna know it really quickly. It's out of such a distinct flavor.
Yep, the world doesn't really acknowledge and glorify and give awards for gentleness, right? Like, we live in this society where you have to just be like bold and bombastic and everybody else to see you and see your posts, and like gentleness is just not applauded in this world and in this culture. But I keep thinking about when the Bible talks about the gifts of the Spirit, and how there are those, everybody wants those big gifts. I want to speak in the tongues. I want to translate the tongues. I want the prophecy. They all want those really fancy, cool public gifts. And then then they talk about like encouragement, prayer, these, like, I think of those are those gentle fruits of the Spirit, right? Okay. Colossians 3:12 tells us, therefore, as God's chosen people, holy and dearly loved, clothe yourselves with compassion, kindness, humility, gentleness, and patience. So there they are, kind of all grouped together.
All grouped together, yeah. Like I said, I love a humble heart, like somebody who you can just tell.
Yeah.
Like, it's those people that just don't want any credit for anything, and it seems like they do everything.
Yeah, they're the ones that always say you're a gentle and quiet spirit. Like they're faithful. They're always there, but they're not making it about me ever.
Yeah. And my take on humility and meekness and gentleness would be that you have to have humility to be saved, because you have to be humble enough to say, God, I can't save myself. I need you.
Yeah.
And I use that all the time. You got to be humble to get saved. If not, you're not going to get it, because the proud will never be saved. They think they can do enough. They can fix the problem, and they can't. Only that grace can fix it.
Well, even the ones that say, oh, I've done too much, God never wants me. Like, you're in a way you can say, well, they're being humble. And like, actually, they're not. They're thinking they know more than God does. Like, how do you know if God wants you or doesn't want you? Why don't you give God a chance? So either way, yeah, unless you're willing to have that humility that says He's on the throne, you're not going to get too far.
Well, I think about too, Jay Morgan taught me that, that we talked about that box, that if he gives you a 2-foot box and you only fill half of it, most people would say you're being humble.
Yeah.
But maybe you're being disobedient.
Yeah.
Humility would be to fill what he gives you and to know that's what you have to do, not everything else.
Yep. And be joyful with that 2-foot box, right? Yeah, that's that gentleness and that humility. First James says, therefore, get rid of all moral filth, and the evil that is so prevalent, and humbly accept the word planted in you, which can save you. And Eric, I'm a fan of the NIV, but I do like that you have I was going to make you read it, but you stumbled through it the first time. So So anyway, Eric's a big New King James fan. I'm an NIV girl. But anyway, in his version, it says, "Therefore lay aside all filthiness and overflow of wickedness, and receive with meekness the implanted word, which is able to save your souls." Yeah, it's more poetic. I do kind of like that. I do like that version.
That's receiving the Spirit and letting the Spirit be your humility, basically.
Yeah.
You have all the power of God indwelled in you, but you don't have to use it.
Yeah. And you are willingly laying aside the wickedness, the filthiness. God's not stripping it from you. You're saying, God, you and your way of life, this is what I want, and I'm willing to cast aside all these other things because I don't want them anymore. Yes, that's what that's all about. And then the final verse for this one is Ephesians 4:2. "With all lowliness and gentleness, with long suffering, bearing with one another in love." This is how we're called to be. And I think, you just mentioned it, Eric, but I think about Jesus washing the feet of his disciples.
Mm-hmm.
He took the lowliest spot of the servant washing the feet to show that, my kingdom and what I am building is not about being this conquering. It's all about me. It is about serving everyone else. And that's why his ministry was so effective, right? He didn't come in saying, "You awful people," like the Pharisees did, right? He came in as a servant, meeting the needs of the poor, the lowliest of people, the downcast, the unloved, the unwanted even. And that's what we need to do in order to be effective followers of Jesus.
Yeah. I think about now Seth Addison's life verse, when he talks about the Pharisee praying, "Help me to not be like this poor, wretched sinner." And the sinner sits in the back going, "Have mercy on me."
Yeah.
That's meekness. Being in the back, knowing that you're, and admitting who you are. And, if you fall short of the glory of God, admitting that and not being like, "Well, I'm holier than thou."
Yeah.
There's the humility to that just being able to stand there and say, "No, I know what I was or who I am," and being in your place.
Yeah. Yeah. And gentle spirits, they really are attractive to, you always know who they are in the room. And you're just, magnetized to them because there's just something so countercultural about a gentle spirit. They're just not like the rest of this world. And, they might whisper, but you always lean in to hear what they have to say. It is just it's a rare but beautiful quality.
Yeah.
I don't know how much fruit I have in this category sometimes, Eric. I'm a little bit more like a 2x4 than I am a little whisper.
I like to think I'm good in this one, but I don't.
Well, that's humility, right?
I mean, sometimes I wonder if it's humility or scared. No.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's go from gentleness to the last one, which it's an oddball.
It really is.
Self-control.
Yes.
How do you display self-control, or how do you view self-control?
Well, that's just it, Eric. I feel like you see the lack of self-control, but you don't see the self-control itself.
Yeah. So we went with an absolute, I don't even know if it's a fruit.
It is a fruit.
Pumpkin.
The pumpkin
is self-control.
Yeah.
And somebody out there is going, no way. I'm looking it up right now, Googling, is it a fruit?
All right, now you're making me do it. I mean,
somebody out there's Googling.
Maybe it's a gourd, but I think it's a fruit.
If it's not, we're going with our other choice.
I am going to Google it right now. Well, I guess we could have done this ahead. This is how you know we don't research people.
That's right. We just wing it, and we're good at winging it.
We really are.
All right, but self-control. While Amy's seeing if pumpkin's a fruit.
Yes!
It is. It is our oddball fruit.
Yes, absolutely it is. Okay, yes. So continue.
Self-control. It is really probably one of the most vital of all of these fruits to me. When I view this list, as much as love, joy, peace, goodness, kindness, long suffering, all those other things are important. If you don't have any self-control, if you just fly off the hinges all the time, or you can't stop yourself from sinning, or whatever that self-control needs to be, you can't be any of those other things.
Yeah.
And so as much as you're going to know somebody by their joy, they've got to have self-control to get to the joy, because you're never going to be happy if you're a swing in emotion so rapidly that you can't control yourself. Like, if I'm going from happy to pissed off in 30 seconds every time, there's no joy in your life.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I think it's a really important, but it's so odd that it's all about how you handle it.
Yeah, it's the kind of the thing that really does depend on you. And yeah, I mean, I think about some of these other things like, drunkenness and just the things that we make our idols, like, when it comes to self-control as well. And it's a testimony that we're not letting the passions of the world dictate, like, because I think it's also just resting, like that self-control is that ultimate, you're just going to rest in knowing, like, by me demonstrating to others that it's not about my needs, it's not about my glory, it's just resting in what God has done for me. Like, there's peace there. That is self-control. And yeah, so we chose the pumpkin because it really is kind of on its own, isn't it?
It stands alone, but at the same time, it's a necessary thing.
Yeah.
All right, we had a couple scriptures, I guess, on this one.
Well, first this is very important, Eric, because you're not going to, this is crazy. I need to read this to you. So it says a pumpkin is botanically a fruit, is classified as such because it grows from a flower, specifically the female flower of the pumpkin plant, and contains seeds. Scientifically, wait for it, it is a type of berry.
Oh, wow.
It's the biggest berry I've ever seen.
I was gonna say, can you imagine some of these humongous pumpkins that are berries?
Mm-hmm. And it says it's a type of berry called a pepo. However, because they are savory rather than sweet, they are often considered culinarily a vegetable. Yes. Isn't that interesting? I can think of some other fruit that is savory, definitely not sweet or tasty for that matter. The dragon fruit.
Dragon fruit. Well, we were choosing between the pumpkin and the tomato.
Yeah.
So, which most people will argue a tomato cannot be a fruit, but it is.
It is. Yeah.
So anyway, self-control.
Yeah, self-control. All right, we have a couple scriptures. Yes, we have 1 Corinthians 9:25-26. It says, everyone who competes in the games goes into strict training. They do it to get a crown that will not last, but we do it to get a crown that will last forever. Therefore, I do not run like someone running aimlessly. I do not fight like a boxer beating the air. And so that verse is just, that verse is all about the strict training.
Yeah, it's a discipline. As much as it's a fruit, it's a discipline. You got to practice it. You got to know that I'm tempted. I need God to help me. Yeah. I need the Spirit to work here. And you got to ask. I mean, I really think that this is the one. You can see fruit come out so easily sometimes, just the joy and the peace and the love. But when it comes to self-control and you're trying to gain control of your life and you need the Spirit to work through you in that, like, you could be tempted by something and be like, all right, God, I need you to help me here. I need you to help me. I can't do it on my own. And so you're going through the training of that runner who's not going to just run anywhere. They're going to run in a path. They're going to run to where their goal is.
Yeah. And I kind of, like, I'm trying to think about the person that doesn't have any self-control. Let's just say that they they run around like gambling tons of money, like I said, getting drunk all the time, sleeping around, like they're doing just whatever they feel like doing, they do, right? Kind of like the Epicureans of the day. Eat, drink, be merry, for tomorrow we may die, right? And so what if they're running around doing all these things, but then they're also, like, out of their mouth is saying, well, I can do whatever I want. Like, God's going to forgive me because God loves me. All right, well, that might say, well, at least you finally understood what God's all about, but, like, it would make me wonder, have you fully accepted? You like the idea, You love the idea of being forsaken or forgiven, but you haven't really quite let God control your life, because if you did, this is how we would know.
Yeah,
and
you would have some self-control.
You definitely would have some. And again, it's done out of love. You're gonna follow God's commandments. He loves you. And so the last one is what? 2 Peter
5 and 6.
2 Peter 5 and 6. For this very reason, make every effort to add to your faith goodness, and to goodness knowledge, and to knowledge self-control, and to self-control perseverance, and to perseverance godliness, and to godliness mutual affection, and to mutual affection love.
So yeah, it puts self-control right in the middle of this chain that you have to go through. Faith, knowledge, self-control. So if you have faith in who God is and what he did, that he won the victory.
Yeah.
And then you get the knowledge of God through the Holy Spirit indwelling in you, then you will receive that self-control.
Yeah.
And that self-control then will lead to the long-suffering or the perseverance and so on and so forth. But it's right smack dab in the middle. It's holding everything together, that you've got to be able to control your appetites and your desires.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't do that without God first having the Spirit. And as much as we love the making the fun of which fruit's what and having fun with that, it's all spiritual fruit. So it comes down to it's all spiritual. So I love it, but we got to remember that this is Spirit given.
Yeah.
It's not self-acquired. You can't go out and just pick it off the vine.
Right.
You have to be given these spiritual fruits. So God graces us with the fruit. Again, law, grace. You're not going to get the fruit from a law, but you're going to get the grace to get that fruit. And that's what I think, when it boils down to, you got to remember that this is a given fruit, not a taken. You're not picking this off a vine.
Yeah. Well, just because I have to close this theme up, you just said that like self-control is what holds it all together. Eric, of all these fruits we've gone through, the pumpkin is the only one that we can hollow out, cut the top off, and put our fruit salad inside of.
There you go. It'll hold it all together.
Right? So
that is good.
Good old pumpkin's gonna do that for us. So I just love the fruits of the Spirit, Eric.
And when we set out, we didn't figure it was going to be a 2-week adventure on fruits of the Spirit, but that's where the Spirit led us.
Definitely. But yeah, take some stock in your produce section of your heart and your brain and your soul, in the next few weeks, and just, think about, look at these fruits of the Spirit, and even ask God, I'm really struggling in the patience department. I'm struggling in the gentleness department. I'm struggling in the love department, whatever it is, because they also don't just happen, like you said, outside of God giving them to us. But then it is something that we need to, like fruit, we need to prune, we need to grow, we need to get better at. And I want everybody to be the reason why I can tell Amy is a follower of Jesus is because of all these things that she demonstrates: her love, her joy, her peace, her patience, her long suffering. Then that's how we tell the world who Jesus is without cracking open a Bible. Honestly, it's impressive when just showing how to live is what pulls people to Jesus.
And now I was just looking here and thinking about the reason that fruit means so much to me is that one simple verse where Jesus says, "And you'll know them by their fruit."
Yeah.
He talks beforehand about wolves in sheep clothing and all of this stuff, and he talks about false teachers and everything. But when it boils down to it, you'll know them by their fruit.
Yeah.
And as a Christian and as a person of faith, I believe that that's how I'm going to discern who's running with me, who's running in that race. And without knowing ahead of time what the fruits are, how are you going to know what they're looking for?
Yeah.
Or what you're wanting? And so I think we just need to keep a good eye on this, and we might revisit it again next year. Who knows?
Okay.
I love it.
I do too, Eric. This has been a fun study on the fruits. We're going to blend all these up into a delicious smoothie and see how it tastes.
It's going to be different. All right, guys. We'll be back tomorrow with a parable.
Love ya.
I'm born again. Born again to live.